according to my internal sources, they're already talking about having a Demon version of the Charger, a Banshee, not calling it a Hellcat, but a Banshee version of the Charger, which is using a Banshee engine, which is just a Hellcat engine.
So I was watching TK's Garage video a day ago, and he was basically talking about how Dodge is probably working on the background for a new Demon. And me personally, I don't want to see a brand new Demon anytime soon, because me personally, I'm getting tired of seeing all these drag race spec cars, and I want to see something for the street. And Stellantis basically robbed us of the opportunity of having a 1,000 horsepower red eye that we should have gotten. So what if I told you in this video, I'm going to tell you guys why I think, because of the big beautiful bill, that Dodge should give us the red eye we should have gotten back in 2024. Okay, more 46,000 friends, and the 66% of you guys who keep watching my videos but don't subscribe. I was up to like 75%. Now I'm down to 66%. So help a butter out to try to get my first milestone on 50,000 subscribers. I'm trying to be OC Motivator. He's trying to get to 100,000. I'm trying to get to 50,000. So help a butter out and help me get to my milestone first before him.
We are laughing.
But let's get right into the subject of why I think that Dodge should not make another drag spec Charger, whatever they want to call it, Demon or super stock or whatever they want to do it right. Like me personally, I don't want to see another drag spec car, because we were honestly robbed from having a great red eye in 2024. And that's what I think Dodge should basically work on, because if you rewind the clocks back to 2018, you go to 2018, the 2018 Demon was a great phenomenon. It was an awesome drag car. It was destroying everything. It had the ability to go and use race fuel from the factory. It could basically destroy any car on the drag strip, a lot of cars on the street. 2018 Demon was a limited number success story that was a great car. But in 2019, the beautiful thing that Dodge did was made that a beautiful car, the 2018 Demon, more accessible in the form of a red eye. The red eye was basically a watered down 2018 Demon. You had the engine, but you didn't have certain key features in there to basically set the Demon and the red eye apart from one another. And the red eyes have been proven to be pretty popular vehicles. So to me personally, that's what I think Dodge should have made after the Demon 170. And then you fast forward to 2023 with the Demon 170. There are some shortcomings with Demon 170 that I know some people are going to hate that I'm talking about, but I hate to beat a dead horse. But there are some limitations with the 2023 Demon 170 that was not on the 2018 Demons. And the one big thing about that is the race ECU. Now, the 2023 Demon 170 does not have an unlocked ECU. So you cannot go over 149 miles per hour unless you're in drag mode, and they'll let you go to like 150, 152, but it's only like a second or two, just enough time for you to get down the drag strip and have that quarter-mile time that Dodge achieved. But for everyone else, you're only limited to 149 miles per hour. In 2018, with the actual Demon and that Demon crate that they had, you had to unlock race ECU in that crate. So basically, there was people who's going on, Texas mile events and other events like that were going over 200 miles an hour with 2018 Demons. I mean, they might have changed the wheels out and stuff like that, but the theory was still sound that you can go over 200 miles per hour in a 2018 Demon. Now, when it came to 2023 Demon 170, you couldn't do that no more. Now, I did talk to Dodge about this in the background, and from what they were telling me, they were going to have their race ECU in the actual 2023 Demon 170, but for some reason, the legal department said that they cannot illegally do that. And I'm pretty sure the reason why was because of the Mickey Thompson tires and the fact that they only had like 149 mile per hour, tire rating on it, right? So basically that's why Dodge limited it, and then kind of programmed in like a little fault or whatever to where only in drag mode, when you're using it on the drag strip, that's the only reason why you can go over 149 for like a couple of seconds. And that's one big thing about the Demon 170 that I don't like that the 2018 Demons had. They can go over 150 miles an hour, and you can basically go to really any events and do anything with the 2018 cars. So that's one kind of leg up the 2018 cars have that the 2023 Demon 170s do not have. That's one thing that I'm going like, yeah, that Dodge could have corrected for 2024 if they were allowed to continue the previous cars, the Challenger and the Charger, past 2023. Like I fully believe that with all the issues that they knew was going on in the background with that Dodge Charger EV, they knew those cars needed to be delayed. I mean, they delayed them like 2 times, I believe, back in 2023. So they knew these cars were getting delayed, but Causaveris, with his nonsense, he kept pushing and pushing and pushing the Dodge Charger, the Wagoneer S, and the Ram Rev to get launched way before they was able to actually do so. And you guys seen that this year, there were nothing but software launches. So it was just crazy how bad the launch of that car was, but that just goes to show that the previous cars, the Challenger and Charger, should have been out for at least about 3 more years. We would have had a 2024 Challenger and Charger, we had 2025, and then maybe a 2026, which would have been start rolling out right around this daggone time frame, right? And this would be like a crazy step up from an actual basically 2023 red eye to a 2024 red eye, because you would have went from having what 800 horsepower in a 2023 red eye to like 1,000 and let's say 20 horsepower or 1,000 horsepower. Like Dodge kind of neuters the actual horsepower rating in the D170's engine inside of the 2024 red eye. So we could have had 1,000 horsepower red eyes running around for at least 3 years, and those cars would have been highly desirable and highly profitable for Dodge. You had those cars running around, those cars can go over 200 miles an hour because you would have like red eyes wheel and tires on them, and you wouldn't have some of these other issues that the Demons would have had. Now, the engine issues, I'm pretty sure they would have fixed those issues and they would have been, you know, not that bad. But another issue with the D170 is vibrations. Because for me, I've experienced this on 2 pairs of Mickey Thompson tires. As soon as my car go over 80 miles an hour, my car starts shaking. And then if I go any faster, it's like dangerously shaking like this. Like, I'm gonna do a video and I'm gonna show you how bad it is if I go over like 70, 80 miles an hour. And it's not because of my car, it's because of the Mickey Thompson tires. And I know, like I said, people don't like me talking about D170 and some of the shortcomings. I love my car, and I don't normally drive on the highway, so it doesn't really affect me that much. But I know that if I go fast in my car, I'm like this. And I'll give you a prime example. If everybody thinking that, oh, I'm just talking about it and I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm lying about this. Okay, so let me go ahead and move this right here. So if you see right here, with Mickey Thompson drag radials, due to the design construction of the ET Street R rear tires, some tire imbalance is to be expected and is considered normal. So in your car on the actual Demon 170, here we go. Tires may exceed the speed rating 149 miles per hour only in drag race applications and never in highway use. So basically right there, you basically have right there Dodge telling you that these tires are going to cause your car to have some bad vibrations and it's considered normal. And that's like one of the things I talked to Dodge about in the background. Like if they knew that the actual race ECU was going to be in the car because of these tires and stuff, if they knew these tires would cause vibrations over, you know, highway speeds, why not offer every D170 owner an actual red eye, you know, street tire, wheel and tire package, and then put the actual D170s like race wheels in like a crate or whatever? They just like, I didn't really get necessarily like a clear answer or whatever, but I think it was just way too late for them to actually go and do so, especially they had to go do like some extra testing and stuff about doing this. But this is like going along the lines of saying that, yeah, like I think that if they were allowed to have 3 more years of the Charger and the Challenger, we would have 1,000 horsepower Charger and Challenger red eyes for at least 3 years. And those cars would have been some of the craziest damn cars out there. Like, I don't think really too many cars can really beat them. And then now you come with this new car, this new Charger and this new body style and stuff, you could probably have, especially with a big, beautiful bill, they could have came out like next year with that car already set up for Hemis or whatever, all-wheel drive, and could have actually either put the D170 engine there or even put the 426 Hellephant in that car. Because now with the actual emissions getting relaxed to where you don't have to actually comply to CARB and stuff like that, because the actual federal regulations is a little more loose than CARB, they could potentially put a 426 Hellephant inside this new next generation Charger. So you could have had an opportunity where for the last 3 years, 24, 25, 26, you could have had the D170 6.2 liter, 1,025 horsepower Chargers and Challengers running around the streets for 3 years, and then jump right into this next generation of the Charger, where that car would have had probably just a regular Hellcat, 700 horsepower, or even don't even do with the Hellcats. Like, I don't understand why we didn't have the Hellcats around. Use the 2018 Demon and Red Eye version engine, the 800 horsepower version. You can start that off with this new brand new Charger that's coming out. So just don't even have Hellcats anymore, period. Just start off with the red eye version and then basically step up from that. You can use the actual Demon 170 engine in there for an actual mid-tier SRT version for that car. So you go from 800 horsepower to basically like 1,025 horsepower E85. That'll get people to step up from a base SRT Charger to a daggone now a mid-tier SRT Charger, and then you go to the criminal of the crop and you go to an actual 426 top of the level Charger, to where like depending on if they have like a drag version and a street version, you can do two different things. You can either go and have it where like Dodge had the option of basically either neutering the 426 down in horsepower and stuff, because I would love for like a 426 version of this next generation Charger to have this aluminum version of the Hellephant. They already had the engine sitting there. They already did all development work on the engine and stuff. Why not just go ahead? Hey, look, we're working on this stuff. These SRT stuff's coming out and it's going to be pretty nice. We're going to start off with the actual red eye power as your baseline and this new Charger. Then you're going to get the D170 engine as your mid-tier SRT car. And then you're going to get the 426 Hellephant in the top of the line car. In the street version of the car, you can get like, instead of maybe like 1,000 horsepower 93 octane without E85, maybe they neuter it down to like, you know, 980 horsepower, 990 horsepower, or 999 or whatever. And that'd be like the baseline for a street version. And then they still let you get the race ECU, unlock everything, but do E85 this time. And instead of getting over 1,100 horsepower, maybe they lock down the street version of the car down to like 1075 or 1090, whatever. And then basically when it comes up to the actual next generation Demon, whatever, they can boom, base ready to go on the street, ready to go on the track for a new Demon Charger, 1,000 horsepower unlocked, ready to go. And then when we put 85 in that new Charger, they go over 1,100 horsepower. So to me, that's what I want to see the next generation Charger do. I want to start off with the Red Eyes engine and then move up to the D170's Hellephant, and then move up to the actual aluminum block 426 Hellephant and put those in street cars. Like, because they got like a good 3 to 4 years before the next administration comes in, and hopefully the next administration doesn't go back to the same nonsense that the previous one did, because we'll never have a chance to have some of the greatest cars ever. Like, if they do this right here, where they ain't gonna worry about fines or MPG for the fleet and all this other nonsense, all they gotta do is worry about regular emissions, we could see a whole next generation of like red eye Hellephants. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I would use like the 392 is like the best, like the base SRT. They move it to the red eye, like just retire the Hellcat engine. The Hellcat engine has been around for like over 10 years. The red eye engine does not have that many years on that engine. Just give everyone red eyes for like basically the base supercharged version, 800 horsepower, boom, bam, bizzle, done. And then everybody step up to D170's 6.2 engine. That engine's only been around for what, 2 years or whatever. And then it's 426. The engine's only been around for like 2 years. So give everybody a new fresh take on these actual Hellephants and stuff, and put those in this new next generation car, because it's going to take a while for them to actually make a generation 4 Hemi. So why not go ahead for these new next generation Chargers for the short term, for the next 3 to 4 years, put Hellephants in them, and put Hellephants in them while they had the chance to make a ton of daggone money, destroy everything on the streets. And then the beautiful thing is, I had not said anything at all, period. The beautiful thing is, if they go ahead and do the same thing they did with the 6-pack cars, all these suckers can have all-wheel drive. You can literally have an all-wheel drive, basically a Demon 170, all-wheel drive 426 Hellephant, like 1,100 horsepower all-wheel drive, tearing the streets up. So me personally, like I said, before I see 1,100 horsepower inside of a drag version of a next generation Charger, I want to see an 800 horsepower SRT Charger. And there should be no reason why Tim Knissis not go ahead and get this worked on now, because we were, like I said, we were basically robbed after the Demon 170 on getting the actual red eye version for the last like 3 years. And I think that's one of the first things, like when SRT comes out, this should not be a pretty hard project for them to do, because we already knew that they was already starting the last several months to actually go and redo the chassis in order to actually work with these Hellcats in there. And then the actual programming and stuff for the new architecture. The beautiful thing is, since Ram got the 5.7 to actually work in the new Ram trucks, that same architecture is in the Dodge Charger. So now they should already have the ability to go in and start getting 5.7 Hemis working in there. TRX is coming in Q1 of next year, so they're going to be able to have the base Hellcat version of those cars working. So next year, we should legit see by sometime next year, at the very end, at least a Hellcat powered SRT charger, and then go ahead and get like a chiller system put in there and stuff like that. And go have like D170 versions of these chargers running around for the streets that everyone can buy. And that's going to be the best way that Dodge can get around this nonsense of dealers trying to hold these cars hostage when there's too many cars to go around. That's the one thing to combat these dealers, guys. You know these dealers are gonna hold these cars hostage. If they make another Demon 170 that has like a 426 in there, and there's like a handful of these cars are going around, you can imagine if you thought Demon 170 and going through all this nonsense of people saving these cars, it was a problem, and charged $100,000 over sticker for these cars. You can imagine how bad it's gonna be if Dodge does not make a more readily available high horsepower car. So Tim Kniss got a lot of work cut out for him and stuff. And I think, honestly, like I said, retire the Hellcat, start off with the Red Eyes engine, start off then mid-tier D170 engine, and then go to the 426. Like, we should have a 426 in a Charger, and it should not be limited edition. Because there's no excuse if all the fines stuff is reduced down to zero stuff, there's no emissions fines, whatever, there should be no excuse not to give everybody the ability to buy a 426 Charger in the near future. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Should we see a 426 Charger for the streets before we see it in a Demon application? Because if you see a Demon application, 9 times out of 10, majority of you guys will never be able to have the opportunity to experience that car and experience that engine. And at least the Red Eyes gave you the opportunity to experience what a Demon could feel like. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. And until the next time, I'm out.